All right, for the past 3 years, I've been lucky enough to work side by side with Ron as his assistant city manager. During that time, he has been a teacher, a mentor, and a great strategist, not only for me, but for the executive team, as well as the city council. And that has proven to be really good for the city of Burbank. Ron has given over 20 years to the city. Most of that time was working as general manager of Burbank Water and Power and making it one of the best utilities in the country. During his tenure as city manager, Ron has set the table for Burbank's success in the future. Today you will hear about Ron and his successes from various speakers and the impact he has made. I know he just loves to be the center of attention. Not. But this attention is well-deserved.
Ron Davis is a rock.
I would say strategic.
I'd say intelligent, innovator, and leader.
It's been my honor to serve with Ron. Most of my time as mayor of the city, during which time the city made a tremendous change, and we turned around the ship, and we're on the path to financial stability and continuance of the kinds of programs that our community appreciates. So part of thanking Ron is to thank all of you who have either worked for the city or been part of the city on boards and commissions and other great projects in the city. So you are part of this team. I want to say a couple words. Cheryl and I had a bonding moment maybe 8 months ago when we were afforded the great opportunity of knowing that Michelle Obama was coming to Costco, and I invited Marsha Ramos, who's out there, and Cheryl and Monica Miller were there, and lo and behold, we got to meet and greet and shake the hand of the First Lady. It was a great thrill. So Cheryl's a lot of fun. The thing that I love most about Ron is not the thing that you're going to hear a lot about, but Ron in his heart is a landscape architect. He is an urban designer. He loves to build stuff. And that we share in common. And it was my pleasure to be part of the opening of the Eco Campus, which is a premier site for the kinds of sustainable practices that will help carry us into the future, being energy efficient and using a lot less water. I'd just like to say this in closing. Ron embodies everything we want Burbank to be. He is generous. He's smart. He's always wanted to make the world a better place, and he was willing to work for it. He was willing to sacrifice for it. Everywhere he went, Burbank was better off and will be better off because he's been here. Ron, I know it's not goodbye because I'll see you fishing up in Washington, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
The best way or biggest way that Ron's impacted me is he's been just a tremendous influence. His leadership, his guidance, and most of all, his care for seeing me grow as a new executive in the city, and it's been much appreciated.
Hi there, I'm grateful for Ron and Cheryl. I'm grateful for Ron's guidance over the past almost 2.5 years that I've been on City Council, and I'm grateful for Cheryl for allowing him to continue to work and guide us through turning the ship and achieving financial stability so that we just have a wonderful and bright future ahead of us. And I'm very grateful for that, and I think we all are, and we will continue to be grateful. And I actually find my position joy-filled, if you can imagine that. You know, there are challenges, but we've got a very bright future ahead of us, and we can thank Ron Davis for that. And again, Cheryl, thank you very much.
Well, he's impacted me and he's impacted the entire city because he's a leader, he's a visionary, he's very strategic, he's got a lot of compassion, and he knows how to unite. So we were able to come together as an executive team, get the city all working together, and we're all better off for what he's done for us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jess Talamantes. And first of all, I want to give thanks to Bud Overham. Is Mr. Overham here? I want to thank him for bringing this man to Burbank. As the story goes, if it hadn't been for him telling Mr. Davis, that's the story, maybe he can correct me, fix the utility or we're going to sell it. That's what I heard, and that's what I'm sticking to. And he fixed it, and he more than fixed it. He made it great, one of the best utilities in the country. And that's because of him and his team, obviously. You know, one man can't do it all, but he builds a good team around him, things get done. You're only as good as your team. Back in 2016, when I was a long time ago, 2016, can you imagine? I happened to be mayor at the time. We were going through a selection process for a city manager. We had appointed, council had appointed Mr. Davis as interim while we were going through a selection, nationwide selection. And getting to know, as the mayor, you get to work with the city manager a lot closer than the other council members. And that's just true. I mean, the other mayors will tell you the same thing. I got to know him very well. And after going through the process, we had hired a recruiter. We had sent out applications. You know, I just kind of said to myself, I think we found our guy. There's no need to spend time. There's no need to waste time on our part or even the people that are interested in applying. Let's not waste their time or the recruiter's time. Because obviously when the recruiter is on board, it means money. You got to pay her or him, the organization, something. So I brought it to the attention of council. We decided as a full council, we all agreed. Mr. Davis was our guy. We found our city manager, and here he is 3.5 years later. He's leaving us. Thank you very much. No, and I brought my grandkids, Mr. Davis, just to make you feel more. That's the thing we have in common. Besides the politics and besides all the, all the problems throughout the city and our financial problems we've had for many years, that he came on board and fixed along with his team. We have grandkids in common. And that's one thing that he's told me. He's always said that, when he reaches 65, I want to retire, enjoy my family and the grandkids, as well as the wife. But the grandkids come first.
The wife. After the
there you go. After the grandkids. Well, he told me one side, and he'll tell you something different. But anyway, I just want to thank you very much for all the years that we've worked together. And Cheryl, we haven't bonded yet, but I'm waiting for that moment to bond.
We've bonded. I guess that was a one-way bond.
Must have been. But Mr. Davis, thank you very much for everything you've done for our community. You made it a better place, not only for today, but tomorrow, but moving forward in the future. Thank you.
It's been an amazing experience. I have learned so much from him about strategy and working with councils and other people. It has been wonderful, Ron, and I'm going to miss you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's tough to say goodbye to Ron. If you guys remember, there was a little hiccup between me and the former city manager. And when that hiccup happened, I left. I went to Incheon, Korea to unveil our friendship statue that we gave to our Incheon Korean friends, to our Sister City program. So my colleague Jess Talamantes was the vice mayor. And during that whole trip, I was really worried on who the interim city manager that when I got back as a mayor, I would appoint to take care of our city, but most important, our city family. But look at what the obstacles were in front of us as a city, meaning our structural deficit. And I have to thank Ron from the bottom of my heart, not just as a council member, but knowing him firsthand for his integrity, his ethics, and his values. I'm going to share something very personal. Ron and I had one of those old Jesus moments that started off as a 30-minute, 40-minute conversation when he was going to take his beautiful wife out to dinner to a 3-hour conversation between the mayor and the city manager. And it was a tough conversation, but he was so professional, just like I was, that, yeah, we stuck to the issues at hand, but we both acknowledged what was the number one thing most important for the city family and its people. And that was his commitment since day one when I first met with him, kind of getting a feel, because the council members said, okay, these are the individuals, you and the vice mayor go interview them and report back to the council. And Ron Davis really stood out on what we needed to do. And he's not the type of individual that will look at what's the 12 months out. He really was focused on what the future of our city is. And you have seen some of the changes and some of the workload that council has done. And he also had the tenacity, the skill set, the professionalism to deal with 5 different personalities that were his bosses. And we all got different backgrounds and experiences and viewpoints. But Ron, thank you. You delivered us a Class A 5-star leadership team that is far above anybody else. And it means a lot to me because our city is very complicated. And there's always different interest groups. But you led us and you brought the council together to stay focused and be civil. And that was the one thing you told me. Bob, I'll accept the position, but you, as mayor, work with your colleagues to be civil. That's all I ask. Thank you, Ron. And sorry for the headaches along the way, but I appreciate your honesty. Sometimes we had tug of war, but you did it within the best interests of the city family and its residents. And Cheryl, sorry for keeping them late. I know you missed dinner, not once, but several times.
Yeah, you can tell I missed a few.
But thank you, ma'am. Tim?
Ron has impacted me in so many ways, and it's not just me, it's this community. He's been a mentor. He has taught me so many things. He's helped me through a lot of things to build who I am today and be who I am today. But he's put this community in such an amazing position. It's the best we've ever been in my almost 30 years with the city, and I just am so appreciative for him being the right guy at the right time to fix our utility and to then fix our city. It's awesome.
I have a little bit different perspective. I was here before Ron, so I know what it was like pre-Ron. And I was excited when I heard that he was coming. Actually, I was excited when I heard that his family was coming, because I heard they were good people with good hearts that would get involved in the community as soon as possible. At that time, I was trying to start the Boys and Girls Club of Burbank, and I get all this credit for starting this magnificent organization. I was just one person, but at that time I was the one that was looking for people to get. And I thought, well, this is great. I can get this guy, and if he turns me down, from what I hear, I might be able to get his wife. So I was pretty excited. Ron said yes, and I think if you talk to anybody on the board at the time, he didn't talk a lot in the beginning, but you knew right away that he was the smartest guy in the room. And we wanted him for not only his knowledge, but also for his financial acumen. There were times where it was tough to meet payroll. And without somebody like him, who didn't panic and stayed steady, I think he got this from driving submarines. It was just a real gift. Thereafter, since I was on the city council, I got a chance to observe him. And we had some problems with our utility. Within a very short time, he turned it into one of the best private utilities in the country, and it remains that way today. The thing that I noticed, other than the fact that he was incredibly competent, was that the people that worked for him, the managers that came to the council and gave reports, were also incredibly competent. They were bright, and I think that was the first time that I knew that not only was he good at his job, but that he was a mentor, that he was a teacher, that he built things, not just from his hands. in his shop, but he built things at work. He made that utility strong. It's strong today. Like I said, it's probably top 10 in the country of private utilities, maybe even higher than that. Lastly, not being as stupid as I look, there was an opening in the city manager's office. I don't remember at which point in time, but I was no longer on the council. But I saw him during the period where the opening was there, and I urged him to run. Not to run, but to get involved, to put his papers in and try. And he said, I would like to do it someday, but I don't want to do it now. And after seeing the things that go through that office and what happens, you can certainly understand why he felt that way. But we are all grateful that you decided to throw your hat in and be there. I have to say, from being a city councilman 30 years apart, I am so excited about where this city is today. I am so excited about the management team. I'm so excited about everything that's going on. When I applied for this position recently, we were looking at a deficit. We were looking at all kinds of problems, and things got better real quickly, not because of me, but because of Ron and the Financial Services Office, the plans that they put together, the plans that they have for the city. I could not be more excited about the way things are going. We're no longer looking at a deficit, we're looking at a surplus. Things are going to get better and better as long as we stay the course. And that course was steered by the submariner, Mr. Davis. And the only other thing that I would like to say is thank you, Cheryl, for loaning him to us. I know it hasn't been easy. And Ron, I apologize for all the missteps I've made. It's been a pleasure working with you. And thank you very much.
Oh, Ron's fantastic. I just couldn't be more thrilled at the job he's done. I hired Ron. I was the first person to hire him for the city, and I hired him as general manager of the Water and Power Department. And then he was great there, and my goodness gracious, he's done a fantastic job as city manager. Couldn't have done a better job.
All right, next I'd like to recognize our county, state, and federal representatives who have brought proclamations recognizing Ron's achievements to the city. These are all displayed on the table over to my right. And those individuals are Pamela Marcello from the Honorable Adam Schiff, U.S. Congressman's Office. And then we have Arda Chakian representing State Senator Portantino. And she actually has a joint proclamation from both Senator Portantino as well as Senator Hertzberg. Maria Azalazian from the Honorable Laura Friedman State Assembly Member's Office. And Jason Maruka representing our County Supervisor, the Honorable Catherine Barger. And finally, Mary Chakirian, who is representing Brad Sherman's office, and she actually brought a flag that was flown over the U.S. Capitol. And then, of course, we'd also like to recognize all of our many dignitaries. And if you look around, I'm sure you will see people from other cities, our Chamber of Commerce, past mayors, city managers, heads of organizations, boards and commission members, and union representatives. So in the interest of time, and as Ron likes to say, you are all special. Give yourselves one big round of applause.
Teacher, straightforward, boss man, caring.
Greetings, everybody. You're probably all wondering what is an ICI. Well, to start with, to make it simple, we used to be called ISIS. We changed the name to ICI system for obvious reasons. We had trouble getting into congressional offices when we go back east. But the ICI system is the Interagency Communications Interoperability System. It is a government-owned entity, it's an authority, and the city of Burbank played a huge part in the formation of this organization, and Mr. Davis probably played the biggest part of anybody from Burbank in it. He was one of the true leaders and the foundation of this communication system that was born out of the need to enable police officers, firefighters, and general government workers to talk to each other. 20 years ago, about the time Ron started with Burbank, we all had separate, and I say we, I spent 36 years next door in the Glendale Police Department. We had no way of talking to our neighbors. If a police officer from Burbank went into pursuit into Los Angeles, you had to find a payphone to call back and let them know where you were. Firefighters responding to mutual aid brush fires in Malibu had no way of talking to each other. This hampered our ability to perform first responder services. In about 2000, new technologies began to emerge, in particular one called trunking, that enabled you to connect together different radio systems, put them on the same platform, and establish wide area communications. Soon thereafter, Burbank, Glendale, Pasadena were joined by Pomona, Beverly Hills, Montebello, and Culver City in talks about how do we join together and talk to each other. Granted, there's 88 cities in LA County. These were the cities who stepped forward and said, hey, we need to solve this together. Ron was on the original study boards when we began exploring ways to make this happen. And I'm proud to say that in 2003, this dream of being able to talk to each other became a reality when we formed this Joint Powers Authority of these agencies and began constructing a radio system that was on the air within 1 year after that, which is when you talk about government in action, building something new with a new technology, to do something in 1 year is pretty incredible. But the system was on the air in 2004. Today we have 22,000 first responder radios operating on the ICI system. There are 63 police and fire departments throughout Los Angeles County operating on the ICI system, and it all started right here, and it all started with people like Mr. Davis that made it happen. It's a premier public safety communication system. It's one of the best and one of the largest in the entire country. And Mr. Davis, thank you so very much for your contributions and to enabling us to grow as we have. And I have here for you an actual radio.
Transformational.
Brilliant.
Persistent.
You know, I started out to prepare my remarks on the assumption that Ron is not easily offended. Okay? But I've only been allocated 2 minutes, so I knew that it wasn't enough time to really fully test that assumption. But I thought if I got on a roll, Cheryl would find it very entertaining. And as a matter of fact, when I mentioned it to her, she said, go throw in a few, okay? Throw in a few. Month in and month out, for all Ron's 17 years as BWP General Manager, I bore witness to him overcoming the obstacles he faced from day one, the challenges he had to solve in moving BWP forward, and the crucial decisions that he had to make in key moments. All I can say is 2 minutes is not close enough enough time to describe where BWP was when he took it over and how he got it to where it is today. Probably 20 minutes is not enough time. I'm not exactly a luminary among these luminaries, but I do bring a unique perspective to the party. You see, I was serving on the BWP board prior to Ron's appointment, so let me provide you with context for my perspective. Bud Overham, who I think I saw here today, formed several groups to conduct interviews with the candidates for the BWP GM position. I was selected to participate as a BWP board member. I had never met Ron Davis before that day. There were several factors that led to Ron securing the most votes for the appointment, but for me, none was more significant than the fact that the interview lasted for 15 minutes and not just 5. Why do I say that? The first 5 minutes with Ron was baffling to me, okay? He was a really hard guy to figure out because he was so low-keyed, and I kept saying, come on, come on, come on. The last 10 minutes were eye-opening. He revealed his exceptional strategic thinking, and he demonstrated he had a handle on BWP's troubling financial picture. For the record, at the end of the day, Ron was not only mine, but also the clear choice for the job among all the participants doing the candidate interviews. I learned something then that served me in good stead over the years, witnessing firsthand Ron's management of BWP. Underestimating Ron's strategic thinking and his ability to execute a plan when it is delivered without fanfare is at your peril. And I can assure you, I spent many a meeting trying to punch holes in his steadily presented thought processes to no avail. Okay, after having said what I just said, it's kind of hard to figure out how to wrap up my comments, but maybe this will do. Bud used a whiteboard to list the names of the candidates and polled each participant in the interviews to vote for his or her choice. I noticed that on the other side of the whiteboard were the names of the sandwiches that were asked to choose from for lunch. Ron's name was in the same place on the front of the whiteboard as chicken sandwich was on the back. After the votes were recorded, Ron, of course, as I said before, was the clear choice. So was the chicken sandwich, which may go a long way to explaining the first thing that comes to Ron's mind when he orders a sandwich at lunch. Thank you very much.
Supportive.
Visionary. Mentor.
Grit.
So good afternoon. Certainly Karen and I would have plenty of things to say to Ron and Cheryl, but we'll do that privately. But this was a lovely letter that Tom sent me that he wanted me to read in Ron's presence. And I had to cut it down a little bit, but I will deliver the entire letter to you after this speech. So dear Ron, as you get ready to wrap up your time as leader in this community, I want to take just a moment to let you know what you've meant to me over the past 6 years. Over that time, we met almost every Monday morning at Lancer's Restaurant. We talked, and when you spoke, I made sure to listen carefully because I always knew this gift of time was with one of the smartest, wisest, selfless, and kindest individuals I ever met, was truly something special and not to be taken for granted. You taught me to believe in myself and get in touch with what it takes to make me unique and special, and why my brand of different is something that is needed and should be valued in the world of public education. You also helped me learn how to stand up for myself, stand up for my convictions, and make sure my voice is heard. I cannot tell you how important that has been to me. Over these last 6 years, you've been a true mentor. You've seen the world and its challenges 20 steps down the road and have helped me navigate through the difficult times. Not by giving me the answers, but by asking the important questions. Those that made me think, reflect, and grow. Perhaps most important, you've been a truly valued friend to me. Whether we were talking about fishing, buying a new car, sharing thoughts about childhood, family, and careers, whether we were discussing growing older, navigating local politics, or just working through a difficult issue at work, you have showed me the values of trust, loyalty, persistence, selflessness, caring, intentional listening, giving honest feedback, and leading by example. Ron, I know that this city and so many of its citizen leaders and families are going to miss your leadership. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones who got to know you as a person and a friend.
I would say intelligent, thoughtful, and mentor.
Coach. Brilliant.
I'd had the great fortune to find and attract Ron Davis to be BWP's general manager back in 1998. Not only did Ron know the utility business, but he was also a natural leader. As you could tell, there'll be a lot of common themes from the prior speakers. Ron knew, as a new GM, that he had to steer a big ship, which is not possible without having all hands on deck. As a Navy officer and a prestigious Navy nuclear power program graduate, Ron was ready and able to captain the ship. Ron at first had the challenge of getting all the hands to show up on deck, so he had to work tirelessly and didn't take vacation for many years. Ron, you've been a change agent that took a water utility that was literally broke, an electric utility that was going in the direction of being sold, and transformed it to be a model utility that many wanted to work for. because of your tireless effort to make a difference. During your journey of cultivating relationship and trust, you were empowering everyone, regardless of position, to be the best professional they can be. You fought for sustainable practices, proper equipment, training, maintenance of our systems. You always represented the best interests of the customers at whole and not the few. You empowered the department to be great. If our customer survey doesn't speak volume of how Ron has changed BWP for the better, how about 29 awards the department has achieved over the past 20 years? And the outstanding performance, reliability, sustainability, and affordability. And let us not forget the reduction of workers' comp. Safety was always first. You cultivated the organization to excel in governance, culture, project, and operations. All hands are now on deck, making great things happen for our community because of you. You also helped Southern California Power Authority grow, and even got a great, beautiful power plant built here in Burbank. Cheryl, thank you for sharing Ron. I got to say, you are very happy today.
I am very happy.
And so I'm thinking it's been a big burden, and now you get to enjoy them. And so thank you very much. And I know Ron talks a lot about you, and I know he loves you very much. And I'm happy for both of you to now spend a lot of quality time. But unfortunately for us, we're going to be missing him. So with that, it's my pleasure, on behalf of BWP employees, I got a few little things here. But what we give to to BWP retirees, Ron didn't retire, when he became city manager. He was just the chief executive officer of BWP. And now with his retirement from BWP, he gets a coaster, which we all get as retirees of BWP. Well earned. And you also left us a beautiful campus with an atmosphere of belonging. And with that, we present with you a little keepsake from the campus. And so we found this, and this is a retired turbine blade. And so the inscription in it is Ron Davis, General Manager, Burbank Water and Power, 1999-2016. And from the bottom of the hearts of all the BWP employees, thank you very much.
Analytical problem solver.
Fundamentally honest.
I'd go for mentor.
Competent.
It's real easy. Best practices.
It is 75 degrees in Edmonds, Washington right now. Just saying. So I have the honor of speaking. I'm Patrick, Community Development Director. Ron hired me. I have the honor of speaking on behalf of my colleagues on the executive team today. I'll be brief. One of the things I picked up working with Ron is to be direct and plain spoken, and do not equivocate, Patrick. All right. It's true. He's right. Ron, these nearly 4 years of your leadership have sure flown by. It's been a wild ride with you. You've taught us so much and helped us accomplish so much. I could rattle off a list of policies that have been adopted, operational efficiencies, and other achievements that you should be rightly proud of. But I know you well enough at this point to understand that what really matters most to you are the people you have met and helped grow along the way. And we are grateful for everything you have taught us and the leadership you have shown as city manager. There are many employees who have benefited greatly from Ron's time and his wisdom. I recall a CDD employee who had her first Ron meeting, and she recounted after that meeting that she initially felt pretty defensive. And because she was being defensive, she thought she was being attacked. Then very quickly, she realized that, holy cow, the city manager is mentoring me right now. He's actually sharing his knowledge and wisdom with me, and I should probably listen. I think many of us have had those moments, and if you take Ron's advice, which was given to me frequently, don't be so defensive. you can actually learn a lot and grow a great deal. There are many Ronisms, such as, do you want to be right or do you want to be successful? And how's that working out for you? Usually not well. I'm wrong, but I'm right. And my all-time favorite is on the banner below, just saying. And my admin officer, Karen, says, just saying means you should probably do that now because you probably should have done it yesterday. Ron's clever sayings say a lot more than is immediately evident in those simple phrases. They remind us to be thoughtful and strategic and to stay focused on the goals and not turn back and crumble in the face of adversity. Having passion and perseverance and giving a darn. That's grit, right, Ron? Ron constantly pushes us to grow and be better and ask difficult questions, because if we don't ask difficult questions, how will we ever get better? Ron, we will miss your presence and your leadership here. I asked my assistant directors and admin staff their thoughts about your leadership, and they agreed with me that your presence, your gravitas, your strategic thinking and wisdom are what stands out to us. Ron has a big brain, really. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met. And just one personal note before I wrap up my comments this afternoon. Thank you, Ron, for everything. Thank you for taking a chance on me, making my appointment as director permanent, and taking so much time to mentor me and help me grow. About 2.5 years into my tenure as CDD director, Ron said to me, I bet there were times that you weren't sure if you'd make it. And I said, yes, there were. Then Ron said, but I bet you know now that you could do it again if you had to. And thanks to Ron's mentoring, I know I can. That's the sort of thing you take away from Ron if you are, as he says, a willing victim. I've shared this with you privately, Ron, and I want to be sure to share it here with others. No boss of mine has ever cared as much about my success as you have. I'm sure my fellow execs share similar sentiments. You have helped me become a better community development director, a better leader, and frankly, Ron, a better man. So Ron, thank you. Thank you for your wisdom and your commitment and your energy. Thank you for not being greedy with your knowledge and your experience and for sharing that with us. Thank you for freeing us from wearing ties every day. I had that debate today. Is Ron going to wear a jacket or a tie? Probably not a tie. And thank you for the occasional kick in the butt. And Cheryl, thanks for putting up with all the demands we've made on Ron's time these past few years. Ron, I wish you great happiness and a little rest and recreation going forward, because you certainly have worked hard for it.
A phenom.
Smart, smart, smart.
As you know, both Ron and Cheryl have been longtime supporters of the Boys and Girls Club. So the city executive team, as well as the city council, passed around the hat, and we are very proud to present this donation check on behalf of, in the honor of Ron and Cheryl, to the Boys and Girls Club, and the total amount is a little over $3,300. But wait, there's more. There has been an anonymous donor who's going to match that. So, yeah.
Well, I want to thank everyone here for this very generous gift given in Ron's honor. As many of you know, Ron has been a longtime supporter of the Boys and Girls Club. And we really wanted to do something special to pay tribute to everything Ron has done over the years to support our organization. It is no exaggeration for me to say that we would not be the organization we are now without Ron and his devotion to the children in our community. Given this, we see no better way to honor Ron than to name the Teen Center in our new facility the Ron Davis Teen Center. Because of Ron's outstanding leadership and commitment to the youth of our community, who better to name this very important center after than Ron? Building on the solid foundation of our existing college-bound and job skills and career development programming, this Teen Center will give all youth the support they need to go to college, attend a trade school, and to enter the workforce prepared and confident. We know that future Ron Davises of the world have come out of our existing teen program, and there will be only more success stories to come with this new Ron Davis Teen Center. To everyone who made a gift in Ron's honor, please accept our deepest thanks for your kindness and generosity, and we are eternally grateful to both of you for everything you have done for the kids in our community. Thank you.
All right. Before I turn over the mic to Ron, we have just a couple more things. One, we'd like to present you with a photo book right here, which actually chronicles from your first days in 1999 up till the present. And then for your better half, we have these beautiful flowers.
Thank you.
And finally, you've given out a gazillion of these, but now it's time for you to receive one. So, it is my honor, on behalf of the City Manager's Office, to present Ron Davis your retirement tile.
I'll be brief. This is terrible heat, and thank you all for coming so very much. Each and every one of you is special. This community is special. It has been our true blessing to be here. I want to take a brief moment. Most of my family couldn't come. We've had lots of challenges this year. Unfortunately, not all great challenges, so they're exhausted. But a couple of dear folks. Besides my wife, I have my son, Eric. Eric. And while my brother of a different mother, Bill Carnahan, couldn't be here, his lovely wife, Reem, is. Reem Carnahan. I am so grateful and so blessed to have been part of your journey. I thank you all for suffering this freaking heat and doing this. I mean it. Some of you with ties stand in the back. I don't know how you're doing it. I don't have a tie on and I'm dying. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey, of this community's life. It has truly, truly been a blessing and a privilege. We are so very, very grateful. Thank you all very, very much.